Coy told Foss that a man named Thomas Donnelly had been Lucille's boyfriend and killed her out of jealousy. Coy said Donnelly used a hatchet, but immediately regretted killing his quote-unquote angel. Coy had met Donnelly in a jail cell where Donnelly frequently had nightmares and would call out Lucille's name. By an incredible coincidence, Donnelly tells the story to Coy, Coy tells the story to Foss. Foss is transferred to Sheboygan's jail, and he's put in a cell next to Thomas Donnelly.
Weird.
Although Donnelly was there booked under another name, the name Jim McGilth. They were in jail together for 2 weeks, and Donnelly then apparently told Foss that he was wanted for a murder in Green Bay. Later, when Foss told authorities, Donnelly denied it, like you do.
Mm-hmm.
And Coy denied ever even telling Foss this story in the first place. The sheriff questioned Donnelly and believed that he could be the killer, but the solid evidence was lacking. Nobody could actually place Donnelly at the Golden Pheasant. How much any of that is true, I don't know, because everybody denied it as soon as they were called out on it.
And I'm sure that this murder is going to go unsolved, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Despite being the site of a grisly double murder, the building continued to be a restaurant. For a while, it was Don Quixote's Supper Club. Then it was purchased by Peter Lee in 1974, who turned it into a Chinese restaurant. For years, Peter Lee saw and heard strange things, glasses breaking, and a woman talking on a telephone that wasn't there. They requested David Ray of Nina to come in and conduct a seance in 1990. David Ray, the psychic, saw Lucille crying out for the killer to stop. Using automatic writing, he asked people present, this was sort of publicly done where people could come in and watch him work. He asked those present to ask questions. Through the automatic writing, he was told that the weapon was a corn knife and the killer was an itinerant farm laborer that Lucille knew. The writing said the killer died in 1942 in a car accident outside of Chicago. A woman in the room had a vision of a man with a dark beard and a big nose. Ray was deeply bothered by what he saw and soon stopped conducting seances altogether. He told the press, "I never wanted to do that again." And for people who don't know what automatic writing is, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's like you hold a pen over a piece of paper and you kind of let, whatever move your hand around, similar to a Ouija board type thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure I've said this before. I'll be completely honest. I think a lot of this sounds like nonsense.
Yes.
But that's what happened. And really the only thing here that's accurate was that the weapon was a corn knife. They already knew that.
Yeah.
It was already reported that a corn sickle was the weapon. So it wasn't like he had uncovered anything. So I'm a little suspicious, but whatever. Fun times. Having a seance here. By the 2000s, the building was actually torn down. And today the site is a strip mall at the northeast corner of University and Dan's. It's across the street from Walgreens. Lucille's husband, Frank, passed away in Milwaukee in 1969. Their daughter, Betty Jane, grew up, got married, and she passed away in 2004. Not solved.
Not solved. Not really. I mean, brutal murder, but really not much to it other than that it was just...
No, not a lot of weird twists and turns like some of our stories. Definitely really serious. This isn't just, it could have been a robbery gone wrong, a burglary gone wrong, whatever. But it seems like something more.
Yeah. And it's just so weird that they couldn't make any real connections, really, from the sounds of it, to who could have done it. It's that kind of anger, you think somebody would know about it.
Yeah. I'll speak to that a little bit. That's what I was talking about in the beginning, where they have they threw in these conversations.
Mm-hmm.
in the fake conversations, they talk about a customer who would come in and would order food and whatever, and he would flirt with Lucille, and apparently his flirting grew over time, and she had to kind of like be like, hey, I'm dating the owner, like, you can flirt a little, but, you know, chill. Mm-hmm. But I don't know where they got that from. Like, there's nothing, like, that was not in the police, like, suspecting anybody, which is why I don't really care for that fake conversation.
Like, you couldn't find it.
It's a theory that somebody came in and grew an obsession with Lucille and things went horribly wrong. And it's certainly possible. Like, I could see that. It's just a complete speculation on the part of the authors. Like, there wasn't a guy that anybody suspected. So,
and I almost wonder if there is no evidence that that's what happened. I almost wonder if they just wrote that in there, because without it, it probably wasn't as good of a story, because there's really no, you know, you couldn't really even talk about very much investigation, because it sounds like there was just no leads whatsoever on who could have done this.
No, it seems like the police really felt that the target was Lucille, and Jack just happened to be, they had to get rid of Jack. If Lucille was the target and it wasn't her husband, it clearly makes sense that it's like a jealous boyfriend or somebody who wanted to be a boyfriend.
Or, yeah.
I get where the authors are coming from. Like, that's certainly a reasonable speculation. They didn't get that from anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, at least as far as you could find.
As far as I know, right. My understanding, I could be very wrong, but my understanding is this police file is destroyed. It does not exist.
So there could have been something in there at some point in time. Well,
it could have been, but by the time they wrote the book, it was gone.
It was probably already gone. So
yeah,
interesting. Well, another sad unsolved murder.
Yeah,
you need to find one that's actually solved. So that
you want a solved murder? I don't know. So, I mean, the next one that I want to do is the train derailment. That's solved.
In where?
In Wyoming.
Not the kind of recent one?
Yeah, the kind of recent one.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That'll be cool.
Yeah, I wanted to do that story. Spoiler for everybody.
But
generally we have, well, at least I have, you know, like the 50-year rule. That one I don't care about, the 50-year rule, because it isn't like I'm going to say anything bad about anybody.
Mm.
And I could be wrong, but I don't believe anybody died. I just think it's an interesting story that you and this happened like when we were in high school.
Yeah, I remember it, so.
But for anybody who's like younger than us, they probably don't know about it.
Yeah, so it's a very good story.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, we'll look forward to that one, because that should be interesting. And it'll be cool to do something that I actually specifically remember as well, too.
Yeah.
So, because most of these stories I don't know anything about.
Yeah, it was a big deal, and actually, at the time it happened, I didn't even know where Wyoming was. And now I know that it's really not very far.
No, not at all. Cool. All right, well, we can't promise that one will be next week, or in 2 weeks, probably within the next
It will most likely be the next story, but there might be a rerun in between.
So, to allow Gavin to get a hold of it. So
yeah.
All right, well, cool. Then we can wrap this episode up, unless you got anything else you want to add in, Gavin?
No, not really. I guess as far as this story goes, if anybody has any information, obviously I don't think we're going to solve it, but if you're like, you know, a family member and you have some other piece of information, if you want to reach out, I mean, I'm interested.
Yeah.
Send an email to milwaukeemafia@gmail.com, and, you know, maybe there's been a family story that's been passed down. And
we always like doing
nice angle to throw in there.
Yeah, we always like doing follow-ups to podcasts. I know we haven't really done a follow-up yet, but if stuff does arise, we will definitely put it out there for people to hear. So
yeah.
All right. Well, with that, we'll wrap this one up. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Can't promise it'll be a new episode. Might be a rerun, but it could be a new episode. We really don't know.
Maybe.
So keep you in suspense.
Yeah.
Thanks again, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to Fox City's Murder and Mayhem.